The 8th generation version of the Volkswagen Golf GTI takes another step forward with this mid-term enhancement, and with each update it just becomes more and more polished. There's more power, a sharper look, and a more connected interior, and a little of the original GTI DNA still remains.
This smarter, faster, better finished version of the 8th generation Volkswagen Golf GTI aims to move the hot hatch into another, different era. And here, we're going to test it. Before Volkswagen dreamt up the Golf GTI, there was no such thing as a hot hatchback. Now the phrase has entered everyday parlance, and virtually any manufacturer that has a hatchback also has a hot one, or at least a very warm one. It was 1976 when the original version of this car was born, and since then, through 7 generations and with the help of countless imitators, it has brought performance, handling and fun to the masses on an unprecedented scale. The current Golf GTI is the Mark 8 and was first launched in 2019 before being updated in mid-2024 to create the car we're looking at here. We liked that original 8th generation model, but there was no doubt it needed work, suffering like more ordinary Golfs with an almost universally disliked cabin screen setup and interior quality that didn't quite reflect the prices being asked. With these things sorted, might this improved, more powerful model be the best Golf GTI yet? Well, you'll need the usual comprehensive car and driving road test to find out. So, just how quick does a Golf GTI really need to be? Well, performance-wise, this car certainly has to fit into a very tightly defined slot. It must be faster than any of the conventional models in the range, of course, including the lookalike Golf GTE, and it must be able to duke it out with the rest of the hot hatch brigade. But it can't be so rapid that Volkswagen's got nowhere to go with the even more focused variants in the range, the 300 PS GTI Club Sport and the 333 PS four-wheel drive Golf R. Despite these tight constraints, Wolfsburg's still been able to add a little extra power with this usefully updated version of the Mark 8 model, 20 PS to be exact, increasing output to 265 PS. If you know the segment, you won't get too excited about that. It's still some way off what was offered by the two cars that used to represent this Volkswagen's main opposition, the Ford Focus ST and the Hyundai i30N. But it's enough to take nearly half a second off the previous 0 to 62 mile an hour sprint time, now reducing it to 5.9 seconds en route to a 155 mile an hour maximum. That's 3 miles an hour faster. Lots of store is set on 0 to 62 mile an hour times when selling cars in this segment, but in our book, the kind of engine you're getting is infinitely more important than its total output. And the Volkswagen Group's 2-litre TSI turbo petrol unit, much evolved over the years, is one of this century's truly great power plants, though VW still hasn't got around to adding mild hybrid tech to it. This uprated version of that unit, officially known as the EA888, LK3 Evo 4, and shared with the Skoda Octavia VRS, delivers the same 370 Nm torque figure we saw with the original Mark 8 Golf GTI, but has a lovely twin tailpipe snarl which you can embellish with an optional Akrapovic sports exhaust, though only if you select the most focused of the provided drive mode settings, Sport. The others are Comfort, Eco and Individual. Disappointingly though, what Volkswagen hasn't done as part of this update is to standardise the feature the Golf GTI has long needed for package completion: DCC, Dynamic Chassis Control Adaptive Damping. And that's a pity because the DCC system's been lately much improved, as you can see from a centre screen graphic that allows you to vary their softness or hardness through no fewer than 15 settings. Choose the bigger 19-inch Queenstown wheels we have here, as you'll probably want to, and you'll really need this feature to preserve this Golf's trademark supple ride quality. On full soft, this GTI is a great urban commuter. Firm it all up, and there's excellent cornering body control. Jekyll and Hyde then in one immaculately fashioned Wolfsburg package. For reference, in comparison to a regular Golf, this GTI Sports suspension sees it ride 15mm lower, while spring rates have been increased by 15% at the front and 15% at the rear, and reworked rear axle kinematics and mountings have been adopted to create better lateral wheel control and chassis response. Push on through the turns, and in the dry, grip feels almost endless, aided by quick, precise variable ratio steering and Volkswagen's XDS Plus electronically controlled locking front differential. Orchestrating all of these elements is the brand's fast-acting Vehicle Dynamics Manager setup, which oversees just about every dynamic variable and then alters the drivetrain, suspension and steering to get the nose into and around each turn more quickly and safely. With the original version of this Mark 8 model, Chief Engineer Jürgen Puchler's development team prioritised low-speed agility, high-speed stability and driver feedback. And sure enough, this car remains class-leading in all these areas. On a typical British B road and at typical British B road speeds, this Golf GTI feels ruthlessly good. The suspension artfully tuned so as not to continually upset the car or its traction control systems. Throw a more focused hot hatch, say a Civic Type R for instance, down a fast twisting bumpy country lane, and you'd likely emerge at the other end a bit sweaty palmed with your adrenal glands waving the white flag. This Golf might arrive a tenth or a second or two behind, but its driver would be serene, relaxed and with enough mental capacity in hand to perhaps enjoy a play on Radio 4. And therein lies the joy of this car. There's no doubt that this is a seriously good-looking car these days. This revised Mark 8 GTI model gets the updated Golf's angrier-looking front end, which along with the usual red-striped grille features a more aggressive-looking front bumper, an illuminated Volkswagen logo and the brand's piercing IQ Light LED matrix headlights, which have a range of 500 metres, 15% more than before. The side profile's familiar, but the wheels are now bigger. Standard are 18-inch Richmond alloy rims, up from 17 before, with evocative red calipers, but you're probably going to want to upgrade those for the striking Alpha-like 19-inch Queenstown wheels we have here. For some unknown reason, Volkswagen's decided to move the GTI badge from the front wing to the door. At the rear, there are also redesigned tail-light clusters. Lower down, this sporty diffuser distinguishes this car from lesser Golfs, and in keeping with GTI tradition, this 8th generation model's exhaust system has one tailpipe on the left and one on the right. All well and good, but it was inside where this Mark 8 model needed to improve. And it's immediately obvious that it has. There's a much stronger feeling of quality with more soft touch materials and better finishing. The redesigned steering wheel now has proper buttons instead of fiddly haptic touchpads, and the centre screen's clearly bigger and easier to access. All good. You sit comfortably on premium sports seats, and their tartan checked upholstery and red decorative stitching is there to clearly designate this as a Golf GTI cabin, even though it lacks the golf ball style manual gear stick that used to characterise earlier models in the line. It's auto only now, of course, so you simply get this little silver finished selector. There's nothing like the race ready feeling you'd get in, say, a Civic Type R, but a typical Golf GTI customer doesn't really want that. The silver pedals and the GTI specific graphics on the improved 10.2-inch Digital Cockpit Pro instrument display will be enough. Compared to an ordinary Golf, that screen offers an extra view format centered upon a rev counter dial with a central lap timer. Elsewhere around the cabin, detail updates include a better but optional head-up display, a better quality 480-watt Harman Kardon sound system, also optional, and more powerful USB-C ports. Unfortunately though, the awful touch slider below the infotainment screen has been retained, but it's now more responsive and at last is backlit for easier use at night. I mentioned the new centre screen. Well, it's now almost too big, having grown to 12.9 inches in size, up from 10 inches before. Any larger and it would encroach on forward visibility. This vastly improved MIB4 setup is not only easier and more intuitive to use, but also now incorporates Chat GPT tech, which can be used to control navigation, phone and climate functions. The advantage here is that if Volkswagen's own voice activation setup doesn't know the answer to a question you might be asking the car,
oh, that's something I still need to learn,
it'll be relayed to an incorporated Chat GPT AI system, though the same Volkswagen voice will still give you the answer. This monitor also offers faster loading times, wireless app connect for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and of course Wi-Fi and over-the-air updates. As usual with current VW monitors, the home screen displays either with customizable widgets or, if you press this top right button, rows of little icons. Otherwise, things are much as with any other Golf, so you get near faultless ergonomics, great build quality, plenty of cabin storage space and lots of nice touches like the flock-lined door bins and the ratcheting centre box lid that serves as an armrest and adjusts for 5 stages of height. The combination of these tiny front quarter lights and slim A-pillars mean good frontward vision as well. Over-the-shoulder vision isn't quite as good. The large C-pillars rather get in the way, so it's just as well that a rear view camera and a park distance control system are now fitted as standard. Okay, let's take a look in the back. Whereas usual in a Margate Golf, a pair of 6-foot adults could be accommodated reasonably easily, providing front seat occupants don't slide their seats fully back. In this car's most obvious rival though, the almost identically engineered Skoda Octavia VRS, you get loads more room. It's disappointing that the height of this centre transmission tunnel makes it so difficult for middle seat passengers to be comfortably accommodated. 2 people should be quite happy though, and they'll benefit from this fold down centre armrest with its twin cup holders and twin beamed overhead reading lights. Seat back pockets are provided, plus on each seat back you get these neat couple of upper pouches too. The door bins are unimaginatively designed, but they incorporate decently sized flock-lined illuminated bins. There are twin USB-C ports, and with a 3-zone climate system fitted as standard, you get this rear seat temperature control panel too. Let's finish this segment by taking a look in the boot, the catch for which, as usual, is activated by pushing this centre tailgate badge. You might hope for powered hatch operation for this kind of money, but anyway, once it raises, the usual 381-litre Golf boot capacity is revealed. Again, that's way down on what you'd get in this model's Octavia VRS close cousin, 600 litres, in case you're wondering. Still, what you do get, you can use very flexibly, thanks to this adjustable height boot floor that sits above the spare wheel compartment, which doesn't actually house a spare wheel, unless of course you pay extra for it. The wide hatch aperture and the low loading sill height also help if you're trying to get heavy or bulky items inside. There's a 12-volt socket and 2 bag hooks, plus you get a cool white boot light, these small left and right corner storage compartment areas, and a ski hatch so that longer items can be poked through into the cabin. There are 4 tie-down points, but rather meanly, only the further 2 of them are chromed. It's a little disappointing, given this Volkswagen's premium aspirations, that you don't get the 40-20-40 rear seatback split that you can find in rival premium brand models. Pushing forward the conventional 60-40 split rear bench, you do get frees up 1,237 litres across a load area that'll be virtually flat if you have the boot floor in its upper position. You'll now need to think in terms of a £40,000 budget for a Golf GTI. That was the cost at the time of this test in early 2025. Once, not so long ago, this was the amount you'd have needed for the more potent Golf R, but things have moved on. To justify its asking price, this updated version of the Mark 8 Golf GTI now goes almost as fast as a Golf R used to, thanks to 265 PS, and has standard DSG auto transmission. Sadly though, it's no longer possible to get a manual gearbox with this car, which is one of the reasons why the starting price now looks so expensive. You can't even have a manual stick shift with the more focused GTI Club Sport model, which we've tested separately and offers the same EA 888 2-litre turbo engine in an uprated 300 PS state of tune for an extra £2,755. It's a pity that Volkswagen doesn't see the need to offer a lower spec, lighter, more affordable manual gearbox Golf GTI. In our view, that's the kind of car a Golf Club Sport ought to be. It's the standard 265 PS GTI model that's our focus here, now a car bereft of most of the rivals that used to threaten its predecessors. Renault, Vauxhall, Hyundai and Peugeot have all now abandoned this segment, and Ford will soon leave it too, though the 280 PS Focus ST was still on sale at the time of this test for around £1,000 less than this Golf in comparable auto form. Unusually in the segment, that Ford could still be ordered with a manual gearbox as we filmed, if that's something putting you off this Golf. Otherwise, the most direct rival to this GTI is the Volkswagen Group model that shares its 2-litre TSI 265 PS engine. That's Skoda's Octavia VRS. A slightly heavier but also slightly larger car that costs around the same as this VW in hatch form, but has the advantage of also being available as an estate. You have to stretch to a Golf R to get a hot station wagon Golf. The same EA 888 unit is also used by the Audi S3 and top versions of the Cupra Leon, but with those cars, the output is 300 PS and above, which is more Golf R, Honda Civic Type R and BMW M135 territory. Enough with rivals. If you've decided on a Golf GTI, then given the premium asking price for one that Volkswagen wants these days, you're going to want a pretty generous standard of spec, which by and large is what Wolfsburg now offers. Standard equipment includes IQ Light Matrix full LED headlights, which are separated by a front grille light bar, and feature high beam assist and dynamic cornering lights, 18-inch Richmond alloy wheels, front fog lights, rear privacy glass, adaptive cruise control, keyless access, an alarm, power folding mirrors, and a Park Assist Pro park distance control system to stop you from reversing into things at low speeds. The brand also includes a front differential lock and its driving profile selection driving mode system, along with its travel assist feature that allows the car to accelerate, steer and brake on motorways at speeds of up to 130 miles an hour, plus a traffic jam assist system that can almost drive the car for you in low-speed urban queues. Inside, there's a 12.9-inch centre dash infotainment screen with navigation, wireless app connect, and an operating interface that responds to the command, "Hey Volkswagen," followed by whatever you want to ask, aided by ChatGPT. This is the segment's most interactive voice control system. Also standard is 30-colour ambient lighting, plus you get a digital cockpit pro instrument screen, a rear view camera, Jaccara checked upholstery, heated front seats and 3-zone climatronic air conditioning. There are 2 key options you'll want to add, particularly if you want to get a strong resale price. Dynamic chassis control, adaptive damping is the obvious one, which disappointingly Volkswagen still doesn't fit as standard on this car. It's a hefty £735 more. You'll also probably want to upgrade to these much better looking Alpha-like 19-inch Queenstown black diamond turned alloy wheels. Here we've additionally got a panoramic roof and a Thatcham tracker system fitted. You might also want to consider a head-up display, an area view camera system, black leather upholstery and a 9-speaker 480-watt Harman Kardon sound system. For the few likely owners of a track day mindset, there's an optional race package that includes a throaty Akrapovic sports exhaust. Standard standard safety kit includes the brand's emergency braking front assist system with pedestrian and cyclist monitoring, plus lane assist, dynamic road sign display, a speed limiter, rear traffic alert, a lane change system, an exit warning system for passengers, swerve support, and an oncoming vehicle when turning feature that helps you avoid approaching traffic at junctions. Emergency assist will bring the car to a controlled halt if you get taken ill at the wheel, and a multifunction front-facing camera provides a distance control system. There's also a proactive passenger protection system and curtain and side airbags in front with a centre airbag as well, all linked to the usual e-call system. There's still no mild hybrid tech offered on this Mark 8 GTI model's 2-litre turbo engine, but Volkswagen nevertheless claims that efficiency has improved. So let's get to the WLTP figures. Well, the car manages up to 39.6 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 162 grams per kilometre of CO2. For reference, the alternative 300 PS GTI Club Sport model manages 37.4 mpg and 171 grams per kilometre of CO2. Either way, that should give you a range of around 400 miles between fill-ups. As usual with the Volkswagen DSG Auto, there's a coasting function that's active, helping with its efficiency figures. Because this GTI now dips over the £40,000 asking price mark, you'll need to pay an annual surcharge over the standard yearly VED tax rate from the second year the vehicle's taxed until it's 6 years old. Insurance is rated at Group 31E, as it is for the GTI Club Sport. That's somewhere between a Focus ST at Group 27 and a Civic Type R at Group 43. Residuals should continue to be strong. Experts expect 43% after 3 years and 36,000 miles. There are the usual Volkswagen fixed and flexible servicing schemes available. And the warranty? Well, the standard package is 3 years and 60,000 miles. We can't see why Volkswagen couldn't extend that mileage limit to 100,000, since that's what you get on its similarly platformed Caddy model. Doing that, though, wouldn't give Volkswagen dealers so much of an opportunity to sell extended warranty packages. There's one for 4 years and 75,000 miles, or if you plan to see a bit more of the world in your Golf GTI, there's a 5-year or 90,000 mile package. When the Golf GTI was first launched in 1976, Volkswagen wondered whether it would struggle to sell an early production run of 5,000 vehicles. Well, today, well over 2 million sales later, the issue is not whether this car will sell, but who will buy it. After all, in recent generations, this model has mainly sold to folk who, if they were honest, would probably admit to having outgrown the shopping rocket genre it originally created. These people will really like the revised version of this 8th generation car, assuming they're not put off by the increased price, or amongst the few who'll be disappointed that this is the first ever Golf GTI offered without manual transmission. Otherwise, the things that really needed changing with this car have been properly attended to. The clunky infotainment system, the fiddly cabin switchgear, the slight lack of interior quality. At the same time as Volkswagen has introduced a little extra power and improved both safety and media provision. Like its predecessors, this car isn't for track day regulars, but it's still bought by people who expect an involving, rewarding steer, which, true to form, this Golf GTI provides in a more mature way than any of its rivals. No other hot hatch is easier to live with every day, and as selling points go, that is a pretty strong one.